All right, guys, so in this video, we're going to be reviewing my 2026 goals and everything I'm trying to accomplish for this coming year. 2025, this past year, has been an insane year on a lot of different levels. Pretty much every single aspect in my life has drastically changed, I would say, for the better. And it was just an amazing year for growth and a lot of hard work and just getting what I wanted done, to be honest. This year has been hard, but it's been really, really, really good. So in this video, I want to talk about what I want to get done in 2026. So first thing I want to recap is this past year. I want to recap everything I set down on my 2025 goals video that I make every single year on YouTube. I make New Yearly goals, and I kind of just make like life lesson goals as well, usually right before that. It's kind of a habit I'm starting to do. I think that was my video right before this one I'm filming, and I'm sure maybe some of you guys saw that. But 2025, let's review what I set down on my goals video and I guess how things turned out. So at the start of 2025, my goals were, and for context, I usually separate my goals in three different categories. So I've got business, I've got fitness and health, and then I've also got personal goals. So kind of just three different, I guess, dimensions of different goals or areas. And on the business side of things, I'll start with that first for 2025. I said I wanted to make $30,000 a month in personal profit across everything. I wanted to release another free course on YouTube. I wanted to invest into real estate. And then I wanted to also figure out what my goal was on YouTube. Because at that time, in 2025, the start of the year, I didn't even know why I was posting on YouTube. It was all documentation. I just had my Instagram in my bio for 2 years straight or something like that. And I just was kind of just building like an authentic documentation type fan base, where everyone who watched me just saw my progression over the months and years. And I didn't really have a real goal of why I was doing it other than documentation. Obviously, looking back, I'm so happy I did that. But I wanted to really figure out what could I turn my YouTube in and how could I really maximize it for not only helping other people, but also myself benefiting off of it, right? Transparently. And again, if I recap these goals very, very fast, $30,000 a month, personal profit, that would have hit in February. Okay. So literally the month after I filmed this video, I hit that. Okay. Next was release a free course on YouTube. I released a 5-hour AI agency free course that a lot of you guys know me for. I think it's at 140,000 views. Did very well. Invest in real estate. I actually did invest into a real estate deal. I learned a bunch of things, but I also learned literally a few months after I did that deal that it just wouldn't work long term. I actually did end up pulling out of that deal with profits. So it was worth it and I learned a lot, but I realized unless you have a lot of capital, it's going to be a hard game. You're going to either be playing with a bunch of debt and risk, and it's going to be treated like a full-time job, and it's going to be a lot of stress that honestly I just don't have right now because I manage multiple businesses and my mind is elsewhere in the day. It would be another full-time job, and I just honestly didn't have the time for it. But I learned a lot and I made some profit off of it. Next was figure out my goal with YouTube. I did that. I 1000% did that. I went from about 2,000 subscribers at the start of this year to 30 something K now. I think it's 32,000, right around that range. So on all aspects, absolutely crushed it. Next was fitness. So achieve and maintain a visible six pack. So funny enough, I would say April or so of 2025, I actually had a visible six pack. I leaned down a lot, but I also lost a lot of muscle in the process. And since then, I've kind of I would say lean bulked a little bit. I've gotten a little bit heavier. My full six pack isn't shown now. I still have abs, but I would say I'm a lot stronger. I can lift a lot heavier weights. Maybe I'll put pictures up on the screen for comparison. And I wanted to keep going to the gym 5 to 6 days a week. I've been doing that and follow a more consistent workout schedule because at the start of that year, start of 2025, I was genuinely walking into the gym and just looking at the first machine and being like, all right, I'm going to do that. I was not focused on different days for different muscle groups or anything like that. So I made that a goal for 2025 and I would say I definitely executed on that. And I would say it's I would say this area of fitness is definitely where I lacked the most as far as dedication goes. Business is one of those areas where I think I absolutely crushed it. While fitness, I really do think that I could have done better here, but I didn't do bad. But again, that's on me. I wrote down a goal and I can't say I fully achieved it as of the end of 2025 as I'm recording this right now. So something to work on. Next was personal goals. So move out and do a solid 2 to 3 month monk mode. So for those that don't know, I do it every year. I pretty much go into isolation for about 2 to 3 months. I go into the mountains essentially solo. And the only person I talk to is the front desk lady of the grocery store for about a couple months. I don't see any friends. I don't see any family. It's just full work mode. And it's very, very intense. And I would say it's definitely not healthy more than a few months. But I did that at the start of 2025, and you guys will see in a minute. That was in direct proportion of when I did this monk mode period to when I hit these goals. It was spot on. That was doing that whole kind of like sprint in business and everything and isolation was the best decision I probably made throughout the entire year. Next was get 8 hours plus sleep every single weekday night. I'd say I did this for about 80 to 90% of the time. I usually get a decent amount of sleep. I've really realized how important sleep is. I'd say I did this. I could have done a little bit better, but I'm not mad at that. Get more sun. I'm a pretty white person, and I still am now. I don't know if the camera even shows it, but I don't have much of a tan, so I wanted to get more of a sun. As I was recording that video right there, you guys can see my camera. I had to make all the lights in my room literally orange because my skin looked like I was like completely pale. Like I was kind of hiding it. I'm not gonna lie. And that was, I would say I definitely got better on that, I guess you could say, goal. But again, it's still kind of bad. So, I got to improve upon that. Next is travel. So obviously right now as I'm recording this, I'm in Austin, Texas. That was a goal of mine, is to move out with team members. I've got I've got like 4 team members down here right now. So obviously I live with my business partner, and I've got 2 others that live here as well, which is super, super cool because now we kind of do a lot of things in person, and we get a lot done. So I'd say I did do this. Austin for me is really just a part-time place to stay. I don't plan on really being here full time. But a few months out of the year, I think it's a good environment for just kind of being with everyone and getting a lot of work done. So yeah, I would say I did that. And then figure out school situations. So funny enough, at the start of 2025, if you guys that watch this at my channel, you guys know this. I was dead set on going to some of the most prestigious universities in the world. I was looking at Harvard. I was looking at Yale. I was looking at like the best business schools of where I could meet the most, I guess you could say, the best network or best connections, just like for my future, because I was looking at like even like presidents or like very high level people today, and a lot of them were like classmates in school because they were all in the same environment. And I was kind of after that as well, but I really did realize there's a massive opportunity cost if I stayed in school, because number one, I didn't have the best grades. I wasn't like a straight A student, so the chance of me getting into these schools, even with my entrepreneurship, I guess you could say success, was still fairly low because my grades weren't there. And I also just realized school is not the same thing as what it was 20 to 30 years ago. Like this is not I would say a lot of talent, a lot of great young people are actually not at school. They're doing things like what I'm doing. They're trying to find other paths to, make big things of themselves. And I slowly realized that. And I realized that if I really went to a school that would take that much time and I wanted to get the most out of it, I would have to let the business stuff kind of go. And for me, that was not worth it because I've put way too much time, way too much effort into all this. And I realized, yeah, that's not going to work. So I ended up dropping out of school, I would say Q1 or Q2 of this year. I think it was right around like April or so, right in that range. And that was right as my net worth crossed about $500,000. And I was still 18 years old at the time. I'm transparent about this stuff because I've documented this. So some of you guys already know this. And again, I don't mean that to flex or brag. If you take that offensively, then probably stop watching this video because I'm going to talk a lot bigger numbers in this video. But that was where I was at. And I realized that it didn't make sense long term. Like I already proved enough of myself to the point where I was like, staying in school is honestly like, if I was just starting a business and I had like 1 or 2 clients, I'd probably stay in school. But I waited a long time to drop out, like transparently. I waited a really, really long time. Probably the longest out of anyone else I know. So yeah, I mean, I really did wait on that decision, and I'm kind of glad I did because I took my time with it and I made a calculated decision. So long story short, I did drop out of school. But as you guys can tell, I completed all of these goals a lot faster than I thought. I set goals for myself that I completed pretty much all within the first 3 months of the year. So what I did was I made new ones in my day in the life video that I made back in April. And what I'll do is I'll just pull up that video right now. I'll kind of just review the new goals I set for the year, and we'll kind of review, I guess, how I did. So that's that. But 2025, I'm setting new goals right here. Number one, I want to be worth $1 million by the end of the year. So I'm coming into 500K. I want to be worth $1 million by the end of this year. So I have, 7 months, I think, to do that. So 7 months to make about 500,000. I think it's doable. And then fitness-wise, I'm kind of already there. YouTube subscribers, I hit 10,000. That's awesome. Like, you guys have been loving the content. I've been giving a lot of value out, which is awesome. And I'm going to continue to do that. And I'm also going to show more of like my personal side, because I love sitting down on the Lucid charts, giving you guys value. But I do want to, like actually feel like I'm a human sometimes too. So I would say 30,000 YouTube subscribers is the goal there. So those are my new 2025 goals. Locked in, done. Okay. Alrighty, so let's quickly go back to the slides and let's I guess see how I did. So in 2025, as I'm recording this right now, I just made this slide and I reviewed everything. I passed the $1 million net worth personally, and that was a massive, massive goal for me. Like I set that there, and I was saying that, and I was like, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. That was a very ambitious goal. Like part of me actually didn't think I would hit it, but I did. So I passed that net worth goal. For me personally, $1 million, I think everyone has that goal, and that was a pretty crazy kind of feeling, I guess, at 19. Next was past 30,000 YouTube subscribers. So again, I went from like saying I was going to hit 10K at the start of this year. I was like, my goal is to hit 10,000 YouTube subscribers. I ended up hitting that in the first few months. So at the end of this year, as I'm recording this right now, I'm over 30,000. I think I'm like right around like 31 or 32,000 YouTube subscribers, which is absolutely killer. Next, released a 5-hour free course, which was on that goals doc. It's about 140,000 views right now. Massive success of a video. Like, that video helped out so many people. I genuinely get DMs like every single day on Instagram of people saying, thank you so much. This helped me massively. And that is like, it's a crazy feeling. You almost get like, and this sounds bad, but you almost get a little bit desensitized to like those type of messages after you get a lot of them. But that was genuinely a very, very successful video, not only on the algorithm side of things, but also for other people. Other people saw massive success just following what I said in that video. And I'm going to kind of follow that up with what I'm going to talk about in my 2026 goals video, or just 2026 goals in general, because I've got some more stuff around the whole free course side of things. Next was I dropped out of college. I just talked about that. Gained a noticeable amount of muscle, which was kind of like a body recomp. So like I said, I gained a bunch of muscle. Like, I look physically a lot stronger than I did at the start of 2025, but I don't have a visible six-pack. So again, I did not technically complete that. And that was, I guess you could say, a miss, even if I did physique-wise and fitness-wise get better. Next was do a 3-month monk mode. I did that. Next was move into a new city part-time, which is exactly what I did, Austin, Texas. Hosted my first ever in-person mastermind event. That was super, super fun. If anyone there that's watching this right now that's in my mastermind, you guys were there. I think 18 people were there, and I think like 7 or 8 flew out. So that was such a cool experience to see, I guess, all the people who I've been like helping and like seeing online for months at this point finally be in person with many of them actually getting pretty crazy results in their agency. And yeah, that was just an awesome experience, and just super, super happy I did that. Next was bought both of my parents' Rolexes for the holidays. I was able to do that, and that was kind of like a super cool feeling, just giving back to my parents. And there were more stuff I did not put down even on this list. Like I bought a $60,000 Patek Philippe watch for my 19th birthday. That was a big milestone for me. And just a lot of other things. Like, these are just the biggest things I would say in 2025 I completed here. And a lot of people aren't as transparent with this stuff. The reason I am, to be honest, is because I've just been doing it for like years. Like, I've been publicly documenting my life for years at this point. And I think people really get to kind of see the inside look of like everything I'm doing. And it's, again, in the future slides I'm going to show you here in a minute, more that's going to come into play. But like, I will definitely become a little bit more private with things as I do get bigger, because it's just, I don't want to come across like I'm bragging or flexing. But again, this video is really just for me to look back on, to be honest. So 2025 was a year of massive growth and relentless action. Like, this year was I'll be honest, it was a tough year. Like, it was a tough year with a lot of work to do, a lot of things to overcome, and it was just relentless action and work. And it was an amazing year because of that. Like, I really, really did put my all into this year, and I'm very happy I did. I look back on the year and I'm like, that was a success. I have not looked back on a year in my life in the past few years and I really regret anything. Like, I really do think that the year was a massive success. So 2026 obviously has got to be better. So let's talk about what are my 2026 goals. All right. So of course I'm going to be dividing these up into business, fitness, and personal, the main key 3 sections that I did for last year as well. So business, let's start off. I want to make $2 million personally in profit. This is a very ambitious goal, I think, to me. That's about $167,000 a month in personal profit. Okay, that's a lot of money. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that's not, like, that's a lot of money, you know? And that's an ambitious goal, but I think it's possible. Next is 100,000 YouTube subscribers. Also an ambitious goal. But again, I put down 10,000 subscribers as my goal in 2025, and I ended up at 30. And at that time, when I said 10,000, I had 2,000. So I don't even know what the math is. 20x, 10x my channel by far, about I think 10, 15x channel. So yeah, launch a free 10-hour AI agency course. That is my third goal. As I'm saying this right now, you guys are probably watching this. There's probably a link in the description of this video where you can get on the waitlist for this. I've been working on this since about August of 2025. So this has been a long time in the makings, but it's going to show so much that no one else has shown on YouTube before. And this also, so again, you should sign up to that if you haven't already. Quickly go down in the description. That's going to be, it's a free video, free launch, free everything, but you're going to get notified and get some sort of like special access and special things as you sign up at the link below. So you get notified when it comes out. And that's going to come out in January, like I was just saying. The next is show how I'm scaling my agency up to about $250,000 a month consistently. Okay, so this is my own AI agency. And while I do, of course, have a business partner, we are really scaling up the actual fundamentals of the agency side of things, because a problem we faced this year is we did have high churn. And another thing we've been doing recently is we've been going absolutely ham into a new industry. And I don't know, by the time you guys are watching this, if you're watching this as the video just came out, I probably haven't posted about it yet, but I've done something. I'll say this right now. I've done something in my agency in the past 4 or 5 weeks that no one's ever done on YouTube. I'm talking about an insane video that's going to come out. Like, I would say arguably even more crazy and more potentially valuable than my 10-hour course video. I guess that's up for debate, but really scaling up the agency to that number consistently, because we can hit high revenue months, but being consistent is a whole nother game. So that's a big goal for me, is really stay at that $250,000 a month mark goal and even go higher, if that's obviously the possibility. And that's the goal too, but setting that right now. And also showing a lot more of the agency as well, which is, again, packed to that video that's going to be coming out here soon. I really want to show, even if it's like, the problem with me showing, I guess, my agency at the level it is it's very, I would say, unrelatable, because very few people are spending $1,000 a day on ads. Very few people are building out massive team members where I'm not the one on sales calls. I have a sales manager, sales reps, setters, closers. Like, it's a little bit unobtainable for people, or it might be hard to watch. But I think I'm just going to do it. That's like a big goal I have going into 2026, is really showing more of that side of the agency. Even if it gets less viewers, I think that the quality of the viewers will be much higher. So that's a goal there. Next is going to be growing the mastermind group to over 500 active AI agency owners. So as of right now, I think we're right around 200 members. And kind of like a side goal to this as well is making at least 70% of the group, 75% of the group successful, as in they're making money from their agency consistently every month. Because again, this whole AI agency model, like, it sounds kind of like a flashy, cool new thing, but like, guys, it's a very boring business model. Like, I'm very honest about that, but boring business models are what pays very, very well, because you can just figure out what other people are doing and then just do it yourself. And we're not talking about making hundreds of millions of dollars here, where you're like a massive competitor and there's only one or two more. Like, no, like making $10,000, $20,000 a month in an agency is like as simple as getting a few clients every month that pay you, piffs. So again, and I think it's just, there's a whole nother thing. Like, I can't sit here and say the group is 100% successful. That's not true. Like the mastermind group, I really do want out of the 500 people we're going to have, 70% of them be massively, or just be successful, right? While I want like 100 of those people being very, very, very successful. And that really comes down to me making a very, very, very good product, which I am currently, right now as I'm filming this, in the works of doing. I'm investing tens of thousands of dollars in an insane product that's going to be released for everyone inside my mastermind, with a lot of the resources that I'm using in my own agency. And if you guys are in my mastermind, you guys know this already, because you guys have already seen a lot of it. But again, that being said, I want 500 active AI agency owners inside my mastermind by the end of the year. Next is going to be host an insane in-person mastermind event with speakers. Okay, so for the last event we did, it was just me. It was my business partner. We were the only speakers. And we also had our AI developer come in, and he spoke as well. But I really want to be like, I guess in this case, I want it to be a crazy event. I want like 20, 30 people at least to show up, and I want it to like be super, super cool. So that's a goal. And the last goal I have on here is take over and become the king of the whole AI agency space. What I mean by that is, like, this whole space on YouTube, it's flooded with a lot of people that like, I guess in the whole AI space, like they just post content on YouTube about like, what's the new tool for this week in AI? Like, I don't want to make that type of content because at the end of the day, that's like valueless. Like that's like just showing you guys like, hey, ChatGPT made an update this week, or hey, Gemini made it. Like, who cares? You know, like that's not going to pay the bills. You know, like I really want to become the king of like, I guess just become the well-known guy that people know for this business model. And that's my goal. And that's also tied to that 100,000 YouTube subscriber goal and having a high quality audience with that as well. Obviously that's hard as I start to reach hundreds of thousands of views, which I already have, and millions of views, but I'd much rather have a smaller audience that's higher quality than a huge audience like a Mr. Beast, but the audience is like 5-year-olds. You know what I mean? So yeah, I really do want to kind of take over the space. And the way I'm going to do that is by showing more value than ever, showing what I'm doing in my agency more than ever, and just overall kind of just showing the most proof. Because at the end of the day, that's I really do think there's no one else who's doing that. And what I've got coming soon, it's game over. So yeah, that's my last goal on the business side of things. Done. So one last thing, I know this is kind of like getting a little bit long on this slide, but I guess it's tied into business. I might have put this on my personal side as well, but I'll just say it here. I want to invest a lot of my money. Okay. Like I'm known at this point, for those of you that know me and especially know me in person, I don't have any car. I have a $10,000 Honda. Okay. I've had this car since I was like 17 or something like that. You know, I don't care about the cars, even watches. Like I do have a goal to get another watch soon, a really cool one. But beyond that, like I really want to invest my money smart in the markets and make massive returns on it. And I've already done that. Every single year I've done that. In 2025, I did very, very well. In 2024, I did ridiculously well. I did not do as well as I did in 2024, but that was also because I made 98% on the year, which I publicly documented that as well. I was betting on Trump to win the election, and sadly, I don't think I can replicate that again. That was like a crazy outcome. So yeah, that being said, invest a lot of my money and everything on this slide. Next is fitness and health. So I want to get to about 12% body fat with a visible six pack with muscle, because a lot of people can have like a skinny pack, right? Where they're like 10% body fat, 12% body fat, but they're like just super skinny. And like I don't want to be that. And it's kind of what happened at the start of this year, 2025, where I cut down a lot of weight and I had probably about a full visible six pack, but like I just didn't have as much muscle as I did because I cut weight so fast. So I need to kind of slowly cut down to that 12% body fat. Right now I'm probably around 15%. And yeah, that's kind of simple goal there. Next is get 8 hours of sleep every single night. So I think I do a pretty good job of that now, but I do think I can do better. Sleep is so important. Like the people who sit there and go, oh, I sleep 5 hours a night, 6 hours a night. Like it might sound cool, that's a cool thing to say, but like at the end of the day, that is like extremely unhealthy and bad, especially if you're like an entrepreneur. For me, the hardest part is just going to sleep because I have so much happening in my mind that's like my weakness, right? Because I sit there in bed and I'm just like thinking of all these ideas, and I'm like, every single night I have like a notes to do for the next day, and I just put things down. I spend like 30 minutes and I can't sleep because I'm just putting things down on this notes on my phone. So yeah. Next is get more sun and tan. Like I said earlier, like I'm a pretty white person. I'm not like as white as I was, like just like pale as I was at the start of 2025, but I do want to get more sun, and also it's just very healthy, I would say, as well as being in the sun. So that's obviously partly the reason why I'm in Austin, Texas, but yeah, very simple goal there. Next is make a habit of writing my own thoughts down. So I did this for about the first 12 to 24 months of starting my agency. So even like before I made a video on this YouTube channel, like starting in month 1, I had a journal. I had actually multiple journals, and I just wrote down every single day. I wrote down the date at the top. I wrote down what did I do well for the day, what I did for the day that I could improve on, and I wrote down what did I want to complete for the next day. And that was a good habit I had because I could just reflect really, really well on just every single day. Like, what did I do right? What mistakes did I make? And I want to make kind of more of like an effort and a habit to do that. I think it's just a good habit, and it's kind of crazy because it's also good to look back on, like this is a crazy story. I'll just say it right now. So the month in 2025, I forget which month it was, but I think it was June. I hit $100,000 in profit for the month, like personally. And that was a massive milestone for me. I was cleaning up my closet that same day that I hit that milestone, and I pulled out that journal, and the first page I went to as I was kind of looking through it was a whole page of me saying, I will make $100,000 a month. I'll make $100,000 a month. Literally the entire page was just listed with that. It was like, I don't know if it was me like manifesting it or whatever. I don't even know what it was, but that was what I put down at the time on that document. And looking back, That's kind of crazy. The day that I hit that, I opened up my journal and that's what was there. And that was when I probably wrote that when I was making like $2-3 grand a month. I just signed my first few clients in the agency, and I was just like, let me just write something crazy down and I hope I do it. And obviously ended up happening. Okay. At that time I was thinking revenue. I wasn't even thinking of profit. So yeah, make a habit of writing my own thoughts down, reflecting, and just really improving upon mistakes I make, things I do well. And yeah, every human makes his mistakes. And for me to write things down, I think I've really realized that like that helps me identify things I'm doing wrong a lot easier. So yeah, easy enough. Last is going to be investing more into whatever makes any of this stuff easier. All right. So if I got to invest, I already have I don't even know what my gym membership is, probably like $300 a month. Actually, it's probably more like $500 a month because here and back in Seattle. So yeah, it's expensive, I guess, for gym every month. If I have to invest in like, I don't know, better things for sleep, whatever I got to do. I might just test all this biohacking stuff just because, if it makes it better, it makes it easier, then it's worth it, and I'm fine investing into any of this stuff because I think that actually the highest ROI thing you can invest into is number one, education and knowledge. And obviously that's extremely biased because I do sell a lot of that, but I'm not the only one selling mentorships and, learning from me. Like I've paid 6 figures plus in mentors and just resources and information and education. And I think that's something that can never be taken away from you. And then also your health, right? Your health is super, super important. And a lot of people say they invest into their health. A lot of people, they say they're going to get in the gym and all this stuff, but like, you can see if they are or they're not, and it's the first, I guess first thing people see about you is your physique. How well do you keep care of your body? It's like simple stuff, but investing into it and not being afraid to invest, whether it be tens of thousands of dollars into my health or into anything to make this easier, I'll do it, right? Last thing on 2026 is my personal side of things. So I'm going to go into a monk mode for 2 to 3 months in Q1/Q2. Plan is right now I'm going to go back in about February. So right around the same time I did in 2025. And I'm just going to isolate. I'm just going to go over there for like 2 to 3 months. I'll probably go with a good friend, even like business partner now, because you guys are going to see a lot of it here soon on the channel. Peter, who I've had on the channel before, he does very, very well in the medical space. And we've actually been building a lot of stuff out with him that you guys are going to see on this channel soon. And that's where we've been going absolutely crazy. And I think he's going to come with me there. So we're kind of just going to both go into the mountains and just isolate and just go crazy in business and, just get a lot done. So that's the plan for that. Next is give $15,000 to $20,000 plus to people in need. So philanthropy. That's one thing I haven't really done a lot of, which is like donating money and like really making an impact. And I don't want to donate money that I make really as much to like random foundations where I don't see anything from it. I'm not opposed to it, but I also would rather do some sort of project or something where I can see it. Like I can see the result of like, I put in all this money and like I can see the people affected by it. And a lot of that is people in, underprivileged countries. And maybe I'm going to do a trip out to one of those countries and, do something. I don't know. Like I just need to figure out a way to really kind of give back to people in need. And I say that here on this document, but I probably won't even show that anywhere on the internet. Like I think it's just one of those things you kind of do in private. But if it inspires people, then maybe I will. I really don't know. I'll have to see there. But I do want to do some sort of philanthropy and give a decent amount of money away for sure to people in need. Third thing is going to be travel in the summer with friends. So my plan so far this year is from January to about June, locked in. Okay. And as I'm recording this right now in December of 2025, the past 60 to 90 days, I've worked harder than I ever have ever. And I've really figured out what working 10 to 12 hours a day is, because I really can't say I've done that before because I don't know. I just couldn't find the work to. And that's kind of an excuse, but I've really been working that much recently. I said this in my life lessons video, but like funny enough, I was looking at my phone yesterday as I was, just like throughout my day. At 5 p.m., I had 180 steps on my phone. For context, that's about like 5 bathroom breaks to the chair and back, in my office. At 5 p.m., I woke up at like 8 or 9, probably around actually earlier, like 7:30. So I have been working more than ever than before, and I'm going to continue that momentum and build this crazy momentum in the agency and on the YouTube channel for everything from now, as I'm recording this, all the way up to probably about June. And then the plan is kind of go kind of crazy in the summer, like do some crazy trips, just have fun, like enjoy the work that I put in all these months and just enjoy it with friends and business partners and business acquaintances and just like really kind of let loose a little bit. because it's something I transparently don't do a lot of. I really don't. I guess you could say in most people's eyes, I don't have a lot of fun because I'm so locked down to like what I'm doing. But again, it's a sacrifice that I'm okay with. I talked about this in my life lessons video. There's just different phases in life, and the phase I'm in now is just honestly a lot of work. It's very boring, but it's probably the most impactful thing I could do. Not last thing. So second to last thing on this slide is buy a Patek Philippe Nautilus for my 20th birthday. I put maybe here because I don't know. Like, I don't know if I even want to put money into things like this anymore. I really do like watches. It's a passion of mine. I obviously bought them for my parents for Christmas. That was like, I don't know, $40,000 or something. And I have a watch collection myself. But I'm kind of considering it. Like, if this year, if I really, really do work hard and I do what I'm saying here, I'll probably just do it. I think the price on that watch is probably about $120,000, which is an absurd number. But again, like for me, it's kind of just to mark like a certain milestone for my 20th birthday. So I'm putting maybe there, as it kind of just depends how things go. And that's not like a priority, I would say, but it'd be cool. I will say I really do like the brand, and obviously I already have a Patek Philippe watch, and I kind of just, it's the next level up. I have the Aquanaut, and then there's the Nautilus. That's kind of like the big one. And then last thing I said on here was invest into very high level mentors. When I say this, I don't mean invest into $5,000 into a coaching program. All right. That can be great. That like I've done a lot of that. I've invested a ton into my own education. Like I said, it's been well over 6 figures. What I've realized investing all that money, there's always something I got out of it, even if it's the small things. Like I've realized either the value in the videos of the program or course or education I bought was super, super good, or it was a business partner that I found and everything else was bad, or it was people I met. Like whatever it was, I always got some sort of value from it. And a big goal of mine I want to do going into 2026 is invest a lot of money into mentors, because it's like, that's in my knowledge, like in my mind, people have already walked the steps you want to walk. And the fastest way to shortcut to getting to there is paying those people. And that's what I've done. I did that a lot this year in 2025. And I'm going to do that even more next year. Like I'm going to allocate probably close to 6 figures alone in just mentors and just advice. And I think it's worth it, and it's going to be in other areas of my life too. Like maybe I get back into boxing, and I invest a lot of money into just like really good boxing coaches, or it's into obviously maybe better full-time marketing, like people, maybe like I don't know, like I'm just kind of just throwing things out there, but like really just mentors in different areas of my life. So I can always kind of be sharp, because the people who lack, I guess you could say, consistency, or they're just not sharp, are the people who are generally afraid to invest into whatever the next level is for them. And that's all relative. And for me, I just need to be okay with that, And again, I think that's all going to be worth it, because at my stage now, like I have to find a pain inside of myself, and I have to maybe even pay other people and have that pain of paying a lot of money to other people to get to the next level. Because a big thing I even have to fight personally is comfort, and everyone has to fight it. The person who's working at McDonald's probably has to fight it. I have to fight it at my level, right? And comfort's the thing that kills the most entrepreneurs, in my opinion, because it's so easy to slack off when you've made a little bit of yourself. I like with what I have now, I will make 6 figures a year in investments passively, pretty much. And that's more than most people make really ever, And that's like, I don't want to look at things that way, because that's the people who look at things like that and rely on that are the people who just slack off, and they lose their momentum. Momentum is the hardest thing to build. And if investing into mentors is how I'm going to get there, then it is what it is. I do think that's a way of doing it. So yeah, guys, that being said, it's kind of been a little bit of a rant in this video today, but this is my goals for 2026. I'm writing them down here. I'm putting them right here. Boom. And hopefully you guys, maybe this is inspiring to you. Maybe this is, if you're at a higher level, in business, you've been in it for a few years, this is relatable for you. Whatever it is, you could drop in the comments. You could let me know what you think. And yeah, just that being said, 2025, amazing year. Absolutely. You guys saw the recap. It was a killer year. I succeeded a ton. I made a lot of mistakes, and I learned from it, and going into this next year, I have to just keep doing that and really not repeat the mistakes I made in 2025, and go into 2026 with all the learning, all the lessons, all the reflection, and clarity on what it is that I really want to accomplish, and how much do I want to change not only my clients' lives, but my life, right? And just like everyone's life around me, because if I can change their life, I'll be paid in proportion to that. So guys, that being said, that's it for today's video, and I'll see you guys inside the next video. 10-hour course is dropping in January. I'm sure you guys will find a link for that in the description below. Sign up for it. It's going to be an absolutely crazy launch, and I'm so excited to finally share it publicly. And a lot of stuff on my agency too I'm going to be showing as well that no one in the YouTube space confidently, hand on heart, has ever shown. I pulled off pretty much the impossible recently, and you guys are going to see it. So guys, that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.